Welcome back to another week of the Racing Addicts podcast. I am joined remotely. Oh, this is the home of the bias. I'm sorry. The A to B Media Studios. David normally does this part, so I'm still I have to readjust to this because I don't think I've actually introed in quite a while. But this is the home of the bias, the Racing Addicts podcast, and we are in the A to B Media Studios. Well, I am all by my lonesome, but I am joined remotely by one of my best friends, Mitch. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. How about you, Alex?
Oh, not too bad. We were just chatting. Wrapped up the Uprise Festival running audio yesterday, so I had 6 hours of rap horn, pew, 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 and then make it loud, yeah. So you know, if
he's hip hopped out.
Oh gosh, so especially me because I'm 50 years old inside. I listen to Toto, there. Billy Joel, George Duke.
That kind of stuff. That kind of 50. I thought you meant aches and pains.
That too. Yeah, I got that covered too. But so that's what's so ironic about me running that stage is every year I have friends that are like, "Oh, you get to mix for no big deal."
Triple E?
Yeah. And I'm like, who? As they,
He's a big deal.
I did make the joke after seeing the list of artist names because obviously the big thing with that industry is you don't spell things normally. It's always Y's and U's and X's and stuff.
Yeah, because that one doesn't spell it right.
Yeah. So I requested to the guy running the stage that he referred to me as A-Lux Bite Soul all day, and I spelled it AULEX BITESUL. So.
That's going to be your new Twitter handle, that's what it should be.
That's the new Twitter. It's perfect. So that's what I did yesterday. What did you do? Anything exciting this weekend, Mitch?
So Friday I was actually at Uprise, Skillet and Lecrae were there, so I went with 2 of my high school friends I grew up with.
Nice. Did you get to see Colton Dixon?
He was there, but we were actually Disciples lead singer. I think his name's Kevin. I forget his last name. I think, but either way, he's starting a worship band, and it's like a rock worship band. So we were actually watching that, and that was listening. Cool. Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, it was. We did that, and then Saturday, I just I think I made $50 on college football Saturday off of the parlays and everything.
It's that season.
Yeah, dude, I put money in August 15th, and I still haven't took money. I actually keep making money from college football. I made more money in 3 weeks of college football than I have with NASCAR all year. So I think the key is just to not bet on NASCAR because it just doesn't work.
Well, yeah,
you can't predict it. That's in a whole another ball game.
And we'll get into that, but yeah, no, that's yeah. Well, so one of my good buddies was mixing for Colton Dixon on Friday, so that's why I was asking. Yeah, because he was texting me because he was all mad because he had another show with someone else Saturday, so he couldn't stay. But I had another event Friday night, so I couldn't come to Uprise Friday night. He was mad because we were going to come hang out, but anyway,
yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah. I know,
and then I kind of ran into you. I didn't even know you were there, so.
Oh yeah, I was there. So I didn't realize how expensive it was this year, but it was worth it. But I honestly, I've seen them 6 or 7 times. And I really think that was probably their best performance I've seen. I don't know if it's because maybe I was more awake or in tuned, or they just sounded like they were refreshed. I think every time I've seen them, they were they just come off their world tour. I think the one time I saw them at Uprise last year, they just seemed a little flat or just a little different, but they were really good this year.
You talk about Skillet, I assume?
Yeah. I mean, they're usually good, but it was that was the best I've seen it. I don't know. They get better with age. So.
Well, and they just ditched their label. They're independent now.
They did.
I bet they have way more freedom, and they're just
it was like a Trump rally. It was a Trump rally because he was talking some things, and he was like, I don't know why people are confused about their gender. All these things.
That's
And I was like,
amazing.
I was about to scream Trump 2024. Just,
It feels like a safe space. It's a thing.
It was cool. And there was more people there than last year on Friday. So it was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Sorry I didn't get to see you there, but we'll kick off the racing part. I would actually like to dedicate this episode to my 2 best friends in the world and their favorite drivers for collectively taking out my driver on lap 1. Corey LaJoie started it. Brad Keselowski finished it. So just shout out to both you. Love your drivers so much. It was great.
I know you held back. I appreciate it.
No, honestly, and we'll get into it. It's on the list, but I was more mad at the car. Like the 6 and the 12 barely touched, and his steering column shattered. Are you serious? Like
I didn't think. And honestly, it was like after the wreck too. It was like the softest part of it. And I think Brad, if anything, Brad got hit harder. I feel like the force was towards Brad's car, not Brad coming towards Blaney. So I just was kind of confused on it all. But even Corey's hit against the 8, I didn't think he hit him that hard. But I know that that spot can get kind of light. But I don't know. I think it was just lap 1 kind of shenanigans and things just happened. But
it was. And just I don't like this car. That's like the biggest understatement for this podcast. But I just so the 24 ramps over the 6. Both cars keep going. The 12 brushes the 6 and shatters his steering column. Like,
that was nuts. Like Byron's tire was in Brad's
in his
car.
Windshield. Like
or when Brad could have died. Joey just could have killed the field.
Yeah.
It was weird. It's just a weird day watching it. It was a weird flow. I didn't have a I don't know. It didn't feel like Watkins Glen sometimes. It felt something different.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the best place to start is we always do our weekly rating of the race. Like, what would you have rated today's event?
So, ironically, I mean because I was distracted because I was watching a lot of football today. So, I did have the race on, but I had 6 screens on, so I had 6 different things going on. But when I was watching the race and I would look over, it didn't seem too bad. I really thought it was pretty good, and we're going with a rating, right? Is it a letter?
Shoot me a number. Give me a number between 1 and 10.
1 and 10. Okay. I'll give it 7.4. I really think the excitement factor was there because I know if we're going, overall, I think the excitement factor was there. We had different leaders throughout the race. The ending was chaotic as usual. I was authentic in passing. I didn't think there was a lot of passing overall because I realized at one point Corey was 5th for 30 laps. Yeah. And then, until the pit cycle started, that's when things kind of switched up. And, Ryan Sparks once again had him out too long. Bad call on Ryan Sparks. He's not a great crew chief and kind of cost him a few spots there. But
fiery.
It just
fiery
I'm gonna
comments.
Give it a 7.4. Yeah, that's 7.4. So
I mean, honestly, that's better than I expected because I think I was really torn on this because it had a respectable finish, but I get torn. Does a good finish justify a crappy race product? And I think that's where I'm going to land on a 5. And honestly, if we didn't have the race between SVG and Buescher, I probably was going to be a 3 because for a couple reasons. So first off, we had the most aggressive tire compound we've ever used, LOL. That clearly did nothing. We had one point of the race where Chastain and SVG were out on 32 lap older tires and pulling away from the rest of the field. So clearly tire wear didn't matter. And obviously they're good drivers. I'm not trying to discount their driving ability, but if we had 6 seconds of tire fall off, that would not have happened. So there was that. And then again, it's just, I don't think I'm ever going to like a race with this car. I just don't think I am because you can't pass. And we saw good drivers go to the back of the field and you never saw them again. And that, I just hate that because I like Xfinity, we had a couple incidents where good drivers had to go to the back, but then you saw them again because they had a chance to work through the field and use their talent and ability. And it's Cup, you just can't. You can be a very mid car, and if you can throw a couple blocks, you can stay in the top 10 the rest of the race.
Zane Smith was doing that crazy.
There's a couple drivers I really like that were doing it today too. One of them drives the 38 car. He had some ugly blocks. But it's Martin Truex Jr., I don't know if you heard his comments post-race, but he basically said, I can't wait to be done, was kind of his wording. He's you can't pass, and everyone's just going to drive over each other. So, like, what's the point?
It's true.
And
he's true. He's right about that.
Yeah. And I'm glad. I love seeing a veteran like him saying those comments publicly because I think that's good and it helps potentially move the needle. But maybe. I don't know. We're more entertainment than sport at this point anyway, but
yeah, it's been like that for a while now, but it's just more prominent now because the product's bad. If the product was okay, you wouldn't notice it as much, but it's not really good. And I know, like, we sound like broken records, but it's what's truth. That's what we're seeing. So
I mean, that's where I'm at because like literally a lot of the gimmicky things, Xfinity has the same stuff, but you still feel good about it.
Yeah. But you know, that there was a 3-wide battle for a second, and they all traded places without dumping each other. It was like more quality, and honestly, the 88, I don't know, motor had more horsepower or what, but I don't know how he pulled away 10 seconds in the first lap.
Dude, he killed him.
He murdered him as an 18-year-old as his first start. I don't understand how that happened, but either way, you're right. It's Martin speaks a lot of truth with that, and I think that's why Harvick retired. And I think that's why a lot of other people retired too. Actually, Carl retired because of the stages. So Carl knew about the entertainment factor way before this car. He knew when the stages were implementing. He's like, I'm out. This isn't racing, which he's right. But hey, you know, this was probably my first race I seen start to finish since Richmond. So actually, ever since that Richmond race and the whole call that they made and all that, I actually stopped watching the majority of the races. I actually might have tuned in for the last 20 laps, maybe the last stage, but for the most part, I go out and do stuff now. And last few weekends, I was just busy going to places, and I just don't know. I just don't get as excited anymore, which is okay. I mean, I'm here to root for Corey, so I'll tune in for Corey. Corey been doing well recently, so I'm proud of him. He got some offers on the table, and I hope he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah. No, I do find myself getting more excited about Saturday than I do Sunday frequently. Like, I have it on the list later, but like this coming Friday is, I think, arguably one of the best stock car races all season, and I can't wait.
It should be a good time. And Martinsville's this weekend too with the late models, that big 200 lapper. So that's Saturday, and I thought about going as a day trip. I can definitely do it. I have like the funds and stuff. I just I don't know. I'm doing a lot in October, so I need to weigh myself out. You got to save some money. I don't really have to, but I should. You know?
That's fair. That's fair.
I probably should save money, but because October is going to be a pretty hefty month.
Well, I know we are potentially getting the group together Saturday for the Bristol race. So if we do, I think we just need to have like a dual television thing. Like if I need to bring a TV, I will. And that way we can watch. Watch
please,
late models.
If I'm there,
NASCAR.
you got to have it up. You got to have it up if I'm there. Because I have a few offers for Saturday, either Martinsville, brother-in-law mentioned about hanging out, and then I know you guys offered about Bristol, so I just got to pick which one I want to do.
Hey, we're more fun. That's the hill I'm dying on.
Right, you guys are really fun. So,
and the best part is, if the Bristol race gets boring, which I have a feeling it's going to. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I said it, but
hey, the tire fiasco last time. Remember Denny Hamlin?
Yeah,
won the race and all that jazz. I think he said that stupid thing again. Yeah. I beat your favorite driver.
Yeah, he did. I think that was his last time, though. Thank God.
It was. I bet he'll do it again if he does it.
Oh, maybe. I mean, if we can have an actual stock car race this Saturday night, man, I'm in. I have little faith, very little faith.
Yeah, you're right about that. But you never know if it does look like if it does look like the spring race though, with that whole tire fiasco, it's going to look like two late model races on at the same time. That's what it's going to look like because they're all tire saving and stuff.
Saturday night could be a good night, is what you're saying. We could have some legit entertainment. So it's kind of like betting. You know, it could be good or it could be bad. You know, exactly. So next on the list, I did have the next gen build quality as a topic, and it's just I feel like we have to at least touch it. I don't want to dwell. Yeah. I know I tend to dwell. We're going to not dwell. We're just going to touch it and move on.
No, we're just speaking the facts, you know. So
the car sucks. And like we saw the issue with the 12, which by the way, the 47 who like literally just he didn't even take a hard hit. The 47 dropped out in that wreck at the same time. And I'm like, LOL, this is ridiculous. And then 2 laps later, the transaxle on the 13 car with AJ Allmendinger apparently just broke. Like,
on its own.
Yeah. With like totally unprompted. No hit, no like bad shift. It just like decided it was done. And it's like, cooked. You know, we're at this point where now that everything is third party, like the teams can't control it. So now you've got teams that are getting screwed out of not only like finishing position, but money and whatever you want to add on to it because of these crappy parts. And like, I don't know if you remember Kevin Harvick's Happy's crappy parts or whatever, the t-shirt that he made last year. And like, that's immediately what's coming back to my, Happy's crappy parts or something like that does he still have his podcast? Does he still do his thing even in the off season? Okay. And
I'm sure he's going to say something.
He has no filter at all. So I'm hoping
I love it.
Yeah, it's perfect. I'm hoping he rips it back out again this week because it's
expose the crap out of the sport.
It just I feel like at some point a conversation needs to be had about this car. Maybe not. Whatever. But that was all
been had.
Yeah, it's been had, and it's more entertaining because no one can pass. So that's why we get these poop shows at the end because nobody can freaking pass. So the only time you can do anything is a restart. So that's why you have these stupid 5-wide dive bombs into turn 1 because if they don't do it right then, they're not going to get by the car. It doesn't matter if they're a better driver, if they have a better car, if they have anything. You just can't pass them. So it's like we're talking about removing green-white checkers because of the end of the races being silly. Well, here's my hot take. If you have a racing product that doesn't suck, you're not going to have these stupid green-white checkered finishes, like to the level they are right now. But there's a reason everyone completely drives like a moron because that's it. Like that's the only time you can do anything. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'll copy that and say ditto. I think you nailed it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you didn't miss anything there with that, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen in the future.
Hey, if nothing else, we still got the Xfinity series, and I'm enjoying that. So,
yeah, that's cool.
We loosely hit on it when I was making fun of you guys, but Blaney continues to have a target on his back. I'm not sure why every other driver apparently wants him wrecked, but
I don't think that's the case. But he's a pretty nice guy.
He is, but we obviously had the issue with Martin Truex and him at Darlington on lap 2. We had Chris Buescher hit him last week in Atlanta, and then of course this week, just in a pileup. It's like, dear God, can this man make it through a race, please? Can we just see the finish line? So, but thank God for a good regular season out of the 12 car because that plus Atlanta, they're still sitting in a good spot. So I'm not really worried about this round, but that's good. Hamlin,
yes,
he might be in trouble. And I wore this shirt in honor of his championship choking beginning. I wore my Alex Bowman hack shirt in honor of Denny Hamlin. So,
well, I don't think it's ironic that this stuff is happening to him after he didn't sign the charter agreement. If you notice that 23XI, these last 2 weeks have kind of fell off completely, and NASCAR, I didn't really throw the caution and like right away for some things with those cars getting wrecked and stuff, and just be on the lookout. I think NASCAR is going to kind of maybe make it harder for them to succeed after kind of embarrassing them with the comments they've made with not signing the charter. I'm not saying that NASCAR's right because they're not, even though I don't like Denny Hamlin. Right. I like watching both burn, and actually I like to watch the leadership here look like a fool because they are fools, and I like watching Denny Hamlin look like a fool because he's a fool. So it's a win-win for me, and honestly, I don't think they're going to allow Denny Hamlin to win this weekend because of all that. My hope is, I can't believe Brad's even out right now. And honestly, Harrison Burton's only 20 points out. Harrison Burton could literally get some stage points to finish top 10 and make the freaking next round. And you're telling me Gibbs, to Hamlin, Keselowski, and Truex Jr. are going to be out? That's some crazy stuff.
It really is. And what's crazy is like Briscoe is actually sitting in a really good spot and like
he's been running well.
Yeah, and no one had him on their radar.
No, well, he wasn't even going to make it until he won at Darlington, which was a good drive on him. That was really good.
So
he looked really good that race.
Currently out is Dennis Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and Harrison Burton.
I'm looking.
Is that correct? I feel like that's not
6
correct.
points. You don't think it's 6? No, because Denny.
I thought it was more than that.
Well, okay, if it is, then because Corey moved up to 28th in points, which is good for him. I want him to get back to top 25. But I think that's the updated one.
It is correct because Blaney's in 8th now. So this is accurate. Okay.
And Gibbs was out, I think, before the race.
Yeah, so Gibbs is now in. I mean,
my championship bet because I made a mistake on that.
Yeah.
I just need to put $5 on him to win 120. So keep advancing Gibbs.
I mean, you think Hamlin's probably going to make it, but it is crazy because they're in this situation by their own choice because last week he just chose not to race. Like he just decided, I'm not going to race. And that's what I'm like, dude, come on. Like
why isn't he in trouble for manipulating the outcome of those points with TJ McLeod? That's the same thing. That's been always a problem. Like you can't do that. That people have been. Yeah. Michael Waltrip Racing got reprimanded for that. Front Row Motorsports, I believe, was part of that as well, and they got some kind of in trouble, like some fines and stuff. And then they publicly, BJ McLeod and Denny Hamlin admit that BJ McLeod gave me an extra point. You can't do that.
I wonder.
You can't do that.
Did BJ actually admit it? I guess that's well, then that's a problem. Then that's a problem.
There's quotes I saw that BJ's a good guy, and I think it was on his podcast. I think Denny opened his mouth on his podcast about it, and I'm like, well, that's a point that you can't do that. You can't actually do that.
Now you got the 100% rule in play.
Yeah, the 100% rule in play, but like I said, they don't. It's not only it only depends on who you are and your circumstance and things like that. So, it's not consistent, and I hate the sport. I actually hate NASCAR. I'll be honest with you. So
it's run by morons. I'm not going to argue that at all. It's a big issue. So, I mean, I have a hard time arguing with that. So that's definitely a problem. The charter thing's going to be interesting moving forward because I don't know what the next step is because NASCAR stiff-armed every other team into signing it, which I think's an issue. NASCAR intentionally wrote in the fact that the France family can own 4 charters with a new manufacturer. That's an issue. So, really it's like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like any of it. And it's one of those things where I hate agreeing with Denny Hamlin, but I like the fact that 2311 kind of said, screw you. Cause I think there's, it feels super sketchy. And if NASCAR's leadership had a better track record, I'm more than willing to look the other way on some things, but it's just kind of starting to paint a picture I don't like. So, but yeah, Hamlin might be in a must win. So, I did put the Austin Dillon menace returns. We had Austin Dillon spinning Christopher Bell. It looked like Christopher kind of made him mad, and then he was trying to get to pits, and Austin spun him. So, I really didn't. I don't know if you did anything to add to that. I was just being sarcastic when I was writing the notes, and I just felt like I had to put that in there.
No, I mean, I think, he probably pissed him off a little bit, but I think he was side by side with somebody at the time. Like he had to take the low lane, I think, at that moment. But either way, he wasn't going to lift. Like he's not lifting for anybody.
No.
And I don't blame him. Like, what does it matter at this point? So
the give a crap was gone, and Bell wasn't able to pass anyone anyway because track things. So, it didn't really matter. So, moving on to Saturday, the good race, obviously was a bit of a poop show at the end. Unfortunately, I did see, Tommy Joe Martins tweeted something today, that said, I thought the talent level of the drivers yesterday was the issue, which I thought was pretty funny. After like the 4th green-white checkered they had today, but they had quite a few in that Xfinity race. It was a little dumpster fiery. But Connor Zilisch kind of kicked everyone's booty, like by a lot. Yeah,
it just seemed it's pretty significant how much the gap was, even though it's like his first start. It's not my one of favorites. It's not one. I don't hate him. I have a neutral perspective with him. I think it's very, very odd how fast he was in his first start like that. You know, like Carson Kvapil was pretty quick, but he didn't like dominate. Like, right. And he still had a really good outing. I'm not saying it was a bad performance, but he looked better than champions. He looked better than Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah.
How did he do that? How did he be A.J. Allmendinger? What happened? Like, how does this happen? I mean, you might as well just put him in the 48 car. You might as well put him in the 7 car next year, honestly, if you want. Rodney Childress, because he'll probably get you a playoff win or get you into a playoff somehow. But it's crazy. If that's all talent, congrats to him.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. But I just can't believe he pulled away 6-7 seconds in one lap on a green white checker. With those cars, I just don't know how you did that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Now, I will say in defense of the field, and this is my perspective, he had like 4 months to prepare for a race. You know, most of these drivers literally get like a day to prepare because, you know, they were all at Atlanta last week. So like they didn't have 4 months to prepare for Watkins Glen. And if you were going to start him at a track, this is probably the number one track to start him at. So he did have a lot of things working his way. I don't think you're going to see this domination every other race that he does. I think there was a lot of circumstances here. But what I was really impressed with him was he didn't choke. He didn't do something stupid at the end, anything like that. I mean, it honestly, and I hate to make this comparison because I like him better than the guy I'm going to compare him to, but it reminded me, I know you probably know where I'm going, but it reminded me of Ty Gibbs' first race at the road. It was the Daytona Road Course when he won an Xfinity and he just kicked everyone's butt. But it was like,
he did. He did that first start.
Yeah.
He was it was him, Dale Sr., another guy. I don't know. There was like 4 of them at one of their first start. Was it Dale Jarrett?
Yes, you are correct. Yes, that was
Dale Jarrett was the 4th. Wow, look at that.
I mean, that's a fantastic list of drivers. Yeah, but I think I do think there was a lot working there, and obviously, like you're going in with JRM, not a bad team, especially on road courses. Like them and Justin Allgaier have some crazy good data on road courses, and the 7 was really fast too. He just kept getting wrecked by every other car in the field. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of circumstances working in his favor, but he did do a good job. So I'm curious to see. I feel like at the very least, he's for sure a championship driver next year. I'm curious to see as he gets kind of the grind, because that's the big difference. You know, you've got different track every week, sponsorship appearances, like all these other obligations, like what's the performance going to change to, you know, or does he still continue to just kick everyone's butt next year? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
He's racing every weekend. He's racing every day. It seems like he's raced Cars Tour races this year. He's at Hickory running races. He's winning races in the Cars Tour as well. He's been doing ARCA. I think he has 5 ARCA wins already this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he led every lap on Friday in the ARCA race. Like I don't
did.
think,
So he's used to being busy, so I don't think that's an issue. I think he'll be all right. Honestly, I'm like, do I even need to tune in if he's going to win every week? You know, kind of deal. But you know, he's going to be pretty good, and I think he's definitely a contender for you know, a championship.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun. It'll be really cool to follow. And I like him. I've been really impressed with him so far, and I'm hoping I stay that way because the way he handles himself, the way he drives, he's aggressive and respectful, and I feel like I like that. So I don't know.
Say that. I've seen him do some dirty things in late models, but it's okay. People like him. I'm not going to argue. I'll just let it be and let him do his thing.
Hey, so. we'll see what identity he creates in the Xfinity series. I'm curious to see it next year.
It's going to piss somebody off. I mean, there's all of them. All the young kids race hard, and that's fine. And he races hard. Right. He crosses the line sometimes. He has crossed the line a few times, but that's part of it. Everybody does it. So
yeah,
he's just young. So
yeah. He's
going to learn some things, but he's pretty smart for his age.
No, definitely. That'll be fun to see. So I'm excited. I have high expectations. I have a soft spot for JRM cars, obviously. You know, I definitely favor the JRM love. And I think him being with Allgaier is going to be great because he's going to get some of that like veteran perspective, you know, right out of the gate, which I think is obviously good. I think that's going to offer, because I feel like the Justin Allgaier influence was huge for Noah Gragson. So I could see that equally working for Connor Zilisch. That's just my thoughts.
I agree 100%.
So had that. Like I said, unfortunately, Allgaier was involved in I think every single wreck. So shout out to all those guys. And just overall, I mean, it was just, to me, it was an enjoyable race. You had natural comers and goers. You had moments when drivers stepped on their eggplant.
Like
it felt like David was texting our group on yesterday, and he's like, "Man, this race is so good." And we were like, "Well, this is kind of like every Xfinity road course race. Like it's just it's just naturally good."
Or just good. Portland was amazing. Coda was awesome when Kyle Larson went from 17th to first in like 5 laps. I don't know how he did it 10 laps.
That was crazy.
That was nuts. And then but Austin Hill cried about that. I remember that whole fiasco. But they just race hard, and they just put on a good show. It's good stuff. It's like college football. Product on Saturday is better than Sunday. I agree. That kind of concept.
Yeah, I feel like that happens a lot, you know. But really good. We love Xfinity Series, and I'm still nervous that they're going to start changing stuff there to make Cup look better. And I really hope that
eventually
happen.
Well, I think they're going to eventually kind of switch it up to make it more correlate with the Cup cars, because they have to have some kind of correlation. Maybe put an extra gear in or something. You know,
something to screw it up, basically.
Yeah.
So actually, David and I talked about it last week, but I presented the idea that I think maybe not aggressive forces, but I feel like NASCAR is trying to subtly sabotage the Xfinity Series, because I think they're sick of hearing every week. Because it's not just us. Like, the entire industry every week is like, hey, Saturday is the race to be at. And I think NASCAR's starting to get pissed at that, because they took away Spring Bristol a couple years ago from the Xfinity Series, which Bristol is one of the greatest races to watch with the Xfinity cars. Like, it's just...
They could go there twice a year. They could go there 4 times a year if they want to.
They could go there every month, and I would go to the races. Like, it's like
they
that
can make it
good.
a weekly show. That's just
And so they took away the spring, and now, I don't know if you saw, but in the 2025 schedule, the fall Southern 500 Xfinity race has been taken away. Which...
That's the only good thing there.
I don't get it. It's so dumb. And now, to me, you've murdered that weekend, because now the only thing happening that weekend is Cup, which is going to be aero block, follow the leader, which is where we're at. So it's like, it feels intentional, because they took Xfinity away from the fall Darlington race to send them to Portland to run a road course. And it's like Portland's not a bad race, but are we kidding? Like,
no, we could do both.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
The Xfinity Darlington race is one of the greatest races of the year, every year. And I
agree.
So it just feels intentional. And I'm thinking that the Steves are getting mad that everybody hates their crappy Cup car and loves the Xfinity car. And so now they're trying to make them pay. And there was another point I had to back that up, but I don't remember what it was, because it was last week and it's not on the current show notes. So, but it feels weird. It just feels weird, I guess, is where I landed. So.
Valid.
But
yeah, I agree. It does seem kind of off.
ARCA race. I just wrote the Connor Zilisch show. That's it. That's the whole race. Tony Brenninger made it most of the way with a broken. Was it a broken leg or a bruised leg or something? She messed up her. So
burned. I think she got a burn. Or
you're
something.
right. You're right. I'm sorry. It was a burn. Yeah.
But the substitute, Caden Lapsevich. So his brother races in younger brother races in the Cars Tour, the 77 car. North Wilkesboro guy who won that race with the ruling of rear end. That's his brother. So they're both NASCAR Pinty champions, Canadians, right? So they're from Canada. So it was cool to see him get in the car, because he's the crew chief of Tony, right?
Yeah.
He went from being a racer, couldn't get the funding, and he's very smart mechanically, so he decided to be a crew chief. And that's, with that scenario, they're like, oh, just go in the car, because you know the car more than, anybody else would. Because
that's awesome.
So, so I was cool to see that. And, I've raced with him on iRacing a few times. Caden can get kind of mouthy, but Trayton's really, really cool. But the whole family, the Lapsevich family, are very, very, very smart with race cars, and pretty good race car drivers as well. So I know that was pretty cool to see, but I don't think he really did anything with it after he got into the car. I think there was only like some 20 laps to go or something, but
yeah, it was pretty late. I remember. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he didn't wreck it, so that was cool.
It was like try to stay on the lead lap ish and don't wreck it. Like I think that was the objective. Yeah,
because you didn't really practice it or doing with it prior to it. Just set it up. So.
No, I thought his last name looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. But that's it. As soon as you said it, it clicked in my brain. So that's cool.
So he's done a few pity races this year.
Okay.
It was close to winning one, just couldn't get it done, but it's all right.
No way. So we did have the IndyCar season finale today to determine their champion and obviously run their last race. We had Alex Palou.
I had no idea.
Oh, really? I know. Dude.
No idea.
Whoever does their activation needs replaced because, how do you not capitalize on that? And then...
I liked the page on Facebook. I didn't see anything about a championship race, so I didn't even think about it. And I haven't tuned into one race other than the Indy 500. It's the only race I watched this year.
Well, and honestly, the only reason I knew is I follow Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin. I really like Scotty Mac. Scotty Mac's really fun. And he was posting about it. And honestly, that's the main reason I knew. But they ran their last race of the season was at the Nashville Oval, the super speedway.
It was at the Oval.
Yeah.
I thought it was a street course.
No, so they moved it to the Oval this year. And honestly, it was a great race, from what I saw.
I would have watched. It's an Oval race.
IndyCar does so much better on Oval than they do on the street courses.
Why was their championship on an Oval?
I think they're starting to learn.
18 road courses. Well, yeah, the reason why they pulled back was because people kept getting killed. I'm not even joking. That's the reason.
I mean, that's a valid point. Yeah, it's.
But
the Halo seems to be working, so let's put some more ovals on the track.
Yeah. It's fun. I would totally tune in.
And what's funny is what's weird is the ovals that the Cup cars are good at, IndyCar does not do well, and then vice versa, because the Indy cars at Nashville and Texas are great, but they're not great at Iowa. And then, of course, the Cup cars basically flipped. So it was just interesting. But it looked like a good race. And Colton Herta won the race. Apparently, it was his first ever oval win, which is very cool. Will Powers was, I think he was 30-some points out for the championship. So it wasn't likely, but it was possible. And he had to come into the pits on lap 4 because his seatbelts were coming loose.
Oh, man. Yeah, you have to get that adjusted.
But how heartbreaking is that to ruin your championship run because of your freaking seatbelts? That had to suck. I don't know why, but I just lost audio from you.
Oh.
Now you're back. All right.
All right. I was going to say, if I was a Will Power fan or if I was even Will Power, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah.
About all that. So.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm not a huge fan of Will Power. I like the other two Penske guys better, but still, it was just that's got to suck. So moving on, dirt tracks. We had a lot of dirt track racing. We had the high limits actually in Pennsylvania at Lernerville Speedway. It's a cool little track, actually. It has no walls except the front stretch.
Yeah, no walls. Yep. It's pretty. They do Friday shows there usually, but
okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, honestly, we. It's like 3.5 hours ish for us, so it's a little bit of a hike. But Jordan, Jordan obviously from the Tusky 50.
Yes.
He was texting me and he's like, I kind of want to go out to that speedway, and I was like, well, maybe you, me, and Mitch need to. Maybe we need to plan a little road trip. It's
a bucket list. I haven't been to it yet, and I was actually one year. I think 2016. I was gonna go, but I didn't. And I still haven't made it back. So, I would like to go. If you next year, if you want to make that a bucket list thing, I'd be all for it, man.
Let's throw that on with the high limit series. I think that'd be fun to do the high limit race there.
That series specifically. I'm not going any other.
Yeah. You have to make the drive worth it, unfortunately.
Right.
So. But
is it a 2-day show or one?
It is. At least this year was a 2-day show. They ran Friday and Saturday. So
get a hotel maybe or something. It's up to you if you want to go 2 days or 1 day.
Listen, whatever. I'm great. I'm fine. Let's do it. Let's make some fun. We'll find something to do during the day Saturday, and then drive home Sunday morning, and I'll take the Sunday off. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Well, I do hate Pittsburgh, but as far as the city, but it'd be worth it either way.
It's better than Philly. It is better than Philly.
Oh,
really?
I don't know about that.
Oh, see,
I've been to Pittsburgh once and I hated it. So I just think it's.
Oh, I'm shocked.
I hate the Steelers. I mean, they piss me off and they're so arrogant. Everybody just.
Oh, that's right. Your division. Yeah. I forgot.
Oh yeah, and then I hate the Penguins. I think with a passion as a Red Wings fan. We went Stanley Cup a few times, and I hate Pitt College. So I just, just not a fan of their sports. But
so it's all sports related. Is why
it's all butthurtness. That's all it is. It's nothing about the city itself. City's safer, I guarantee it. But
it's a way nicer city. Like I've been to downtown Pittsburgh a couple times now, and it's actually kind of nice. And I've been to downtown Philly. I have no desire to ever go back. That place is sketch as frick, dog.
I've actually never been to downtown Pittsburgh. I've been to the outskirts. Like I was in a bowling tournament up there when I used to bowl in the States, and I don't know. It wasn't like downtown Pittsburgh. We were like 10, 20 miles out, but I was in the Pittsburgh area. Just it was just cloudy and rainy all weekend. I didn't see the sun, so I was just like, Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, especially Western PA. That is a thing.
That is espresso, man.
But it's the stadiums are all like right on where the three rivers intersect, and you had this like gorgeous view of like the rivers with like the big mountain and stuff.
Yes, the Pirates have a really good view of the Golden Arches. Yeah, not Golden Arches, but whatever it is. Yeah, they have a Golden Bridge or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we actually went to a Billy Joel concert at the Pirates Stadium.
Oh, you did do that.
The view was wicked cool.
I go see a baseball game. That'd be awesome.
That would be fun, actually. Maybe there's a baseball game that during the day. No, I'm just kidding. It would be.
If it's in September, it might be actually because they're still playing.
We'll figure something out. Make a little road trip, but I did not get to see any of the races. Unfortunately, like I said, I had two conferences that I was bouncing between this weekend. But Tyler Courtney won last night. Corey Day again. We kind of on the same path as Connor Zilisch, just maybe in a little bit of different car. Young kid that just wins everything. Corey Day. Sorry, I got Connor Zilisch on the brain and it screwed me up.
They're the same people.
Yeah. But Corey Day won Friday, so we had two really good winners there. Danny Dietrich won at the Grove Friday night with Freddie Raymer winning at Lincoln, with Danny Dietrich finishing P2 last night, which is pretty cool. And then we had Scott Dillinger winning the rescheduled Sportsman 100 at BAPS. Unfortunately, our friend Kenny had, I guess, a motor issue from what I understand, or something that his car stopped going vroom vroom on lap 3. So unfortunately,
when are you going to put that stuff on Flow? When are they going to have some common sense and put that on Flow so we can watch?
That's what I'm saying. Or like if Sprint Unlimited got realistic, like at least if they did that, I think I'd be good. But it's like I think it's $30 to stream per race.
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of volume. That's all they got. These little dinky pay-per-view things. And I know, Jeremy Elliott, he's trying to make a buck, but
and
it's just hard. I don't feel like spending it.
And the hard part is like, honestly, if I wish I was free Saturday night, like I enjoyed Uprise. I always have fun mixing that, but like I wish I was free because the Sportsman 100 is a really fun race to go to. So I would have had my butt there if I was able, but the stream would have been nice because then at least I could have watched what was happening while I was at the gig that I had to mix. So
that would have been cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I think making streaming accessible is good for you. And I'll argue this till the day I die. And I know a lot of the dirt world still argues this, but like I have gotten more into sprint cars because I can follow it. Like if it was not for Dirt Vision and Flow, which by the way, the new Dirt Vision app sucks. Please fix it. If you're watching, please fix your stupid app.
I have no desire to invest in that company.
It's awful. But Flow's amazing and it's cheaper and their app works better. But I have gotten so into sprint car racing and I've been able to learn. I've been able to like follow different series and everything because of streaming. And then when they came to Port Royal, like obviously we put on our thing like, oh, the high limits are coming. It's the Tusky 50. We got to go. So we went. And if it wasn't for us building that interest because of the streaming, I don't know that we go. So it's, I know there's people that are still worried about streaming, but that I think the benefit is just off the charts. And I wish more of these tracks would see the value in it and buy into like the Flow or Dirt Vision thing and get themselves on a platform where everybody's going to see it and you get to showcase your product.
Right. And I think the people that are worried about streaming don't understand the data or not seeing the data or probably see the numbers. We don't know the numbers of viewership numbers. I guarantee you High Limits has millions and millions and millions of people watching the show overall on their streams. I guarantee it. They probably, Touch 450 probably had at least 100,000 people watching online, which think about the sponsorships you can sell with that. I don't think people understand. That's like just, it's equivalent to, okay, so for instance, NHRA gets about 170,000 views, on a weekend or something, maybe 200 sometimes. I guarantee this Touch 450 got over 100,000 just alone on Flow, just because of how big the event is. I'm sure like Tony Stewart is probably watching on Flow. Like everybody, it's known all worldwide. Like people in Australia are probably watching it. Like that's because sprint car racing is huge over there, and their drivers are over here.
And, they got McFadden over here. Yeah. So,
until we see the numbers, people aren't going to really comprehend or understand the concept. But dude, it's
because I'll tell you,
we go to the races and all that. So
just based on the people I follow on Twitter, you can see what the reach is because, I follow basically the entire NASCAR world. Like, if you're involved in NASCAR, there's a good chance I follow you. And I've been growing my follow in the dirt world. But what's crazy is these bigger dirt races like the Tusky 50 or like the National Open at Williams Grove, you have large chunks of the NASCAR world tweeting about it. And
there's thousands of followers, millions of followers on them that are going to tune in.
And
they have this subscription.
Yeah, and they're obviously all sitting at the track, like the NASCAR track for that weekend. Like, last week they were in Atlanta tweeting about the Tusky 50 because they have to be at Atlanta. So obviously the reach is working. Like, and otherwise they wouldn't have known. So I think it's great. And the sprint car world right now is really, really, really healthy. Like, you and I got to see the amount of people that showed up to Port Royal Speedway for the Tusky 50 last week.
Yeah. No, it was pretty incredible how packed it was. I do know, like, the racing quality wasn't the best, but still a good time. I'm not going to really backtrack or anything with that, but
yeah. Port Royal doesn't often miss, but they missed last week.
It was a track. Time. Like, that was all. It was just a track the way it was prepped. It was missed.
It was just shame. So I thought at least most of the heat races were decent. Like, they weren't all barn burners, but I thought you could at least make moves. But yeah, the feature it was bad. It was really bad. So, shame. But still a fun experience. And the environment there is so cool. Like, I forgot how cool the atmosphere at Port Royal Speedway was. Like, I really enjoyed that. So, so me and my buddy are actually going to Williams Grove this Friday. So I don't know if you're free Friday, but if you want to come on down. We're just.
I don't know if I want to go to Williams Grove.
I get it. He wanted to do.
Xfinity's on.
Oh shoot!
You agreed to go after you said the best race is on Friday. That's the only reason.
I didn't even think about this. I did not plan well.
You got fooled, man. You fooled yourself.
But don't worry, I'll be home for the Cup race to watch everyone one single file.
That's why you just tune in the Flow.
Maybe I should just pretend to be sick. Sorry. Can we do Williams Grove next week?
Say you're going to Martinsville. Actually, they're racing on Friday too. Their heat races. There's like usually 70 or 80 cars entered for that race.
I was gonna say their B main for that has got to be massive because there's a lot of people that show up to try to make that main event.
The racing starts like noon, like on Saturday. Like it's like an all day event.
So moving forward, Parker Kligerman will not be returning to full-time racing next year. This one honestly kind of shocked me. I felt like they were in a good place. So not returning to the 48 Big Machine Records Chevrolet next year in the Xfinity Series.
And it sounds like it's his choice, not the Machine Records choice. So.
That was what I gathered too. That's what it felt like.
Well, I don't know if I think he had a long-term girlfriend for a while. They were dating for a while, and I think he took this opportunity so serious where they kind of broke up because he was so focused on, like I mentioned, I remember him saying something about like he was so focused that his girlfriend left him. And I think he's realizing it's not worth it.
Interesting.
He's missing out on other things, and he can make a lot of money doing what he does in broadcasting. I think he sees that. He probably makes more money doing his NBC stuff on Sundays. Guarantee it.
And it's
but he's still going to race. He's going to do part-time things. He's going to probably go back to that 75 truck and race part-time. He still won races in that truck.
And he still will, like, without question. I mean,
I think it's the balance of both. It's best of both worlds, man. Like, you get yourself a part-time schedule so you still have some fun, still be competitive, and then you can talk about it on Sunday and make good money there and get, all the expenses of traveling and connecting and being within the sport. So I think it's a good balance. I think it's a good decision on him. But I would hope if he gets a good opportunity sometime down the road, maybe just to give it another shot. I don't think it should be the end all. He's pretty young, very smart guy. And I really hope he can win a race before the end of the year. I think it'd be really cool.
Gosh, I want him to so bad. Him and Sheldon Creed are the two that I'm so sick of seeing them finish second. Like, I just want them to punch through. And they're
Parker
both
for sure,
good. Like, I think they're both really good drivers. So they both deserve it,
That is the best F48 car he's ever ran, season to season wise.
Hands down.
I mean, it's a top 10 car, it's on the cusp now, I think, or he's 90 points to good, but he hopefully he makes the playoffs. It'd be awesome to see him in the Final Four. Maybe he'll rethink his scenario if that happens, but if he wins the championship, I don't know what he'll do. He might, I don't know, he might change his mind.
What if he does the Daniel Hemrick thing and his first win is at Phoenix to win the championship?
First and last, you're done.
Yeah.
Actually,
roll out on top, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty successful in trucks too, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got 3 truck wins and he's never run 3. Yes. I thought it was 3. Yeah, and he's never run full time. So that's all like part-time wins too, which is pretty impressive. And not with a highly funded team at all. Like the 75 is fairly mid.
He was a full-time driver for BK Racing in the trucks, and I think actually Ryan Blaney was
back in the day.
I think he was his teammate.
Yeah, him and
close.
That's right. I forgot about that. Him and Blaney and Briscoe, right? Yeah, and Cindric. Yep.
And Ross and Reddick, and they all raced for Brad, and now Brad's racing against him in a championship.
I believe wasn't 2 of his wins in the 75 truck? I'm pretty sure
2 was in. I thought there was 2 in the 75, and then there was 1 in the 29.
So I mean,
no, he won at Red Horse Racing, I believe, didn't he?
That's where it gets fuzzy. I'm digging into the archives.
One Talladega, he put the flag in the.
I remember that
in the grass, and then he won another one in Talladega in the 75. I thought he won one maybe in the 29. Maybe he didn't.
I thought he wanted a normal track too in the 75.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but very cool to see. While you're looking that up, I'll just keep talking. But Parker, there's moments that he has ticked me off. But overall, really love the guy. I think he's an incredible talent. He's an awesome personality. I'm excited we're going to keep him on TV, it sounds like. I listened to his podcast, and it sounds like he's going to keep doing the TV thing. So glad he's sticking around in the sport. Glad he's not leaving. And then the last bit of news that I had, hopefully I didn't miss anything, is Kyle Larson will once again be attempting the Coca-Cola 600 Indy 500 double, pending any quote-unquote humidity interfering with that again, if we get that bullcrap excuse from NASCAR again.
I don't think I'm going to the Coke 600 this year.
So David is going, and now he wants me to go, and now I'm torn because I had no interest in going. So he's taking the whole family, and they're going. He got them talked into it. So they're renting a camper. They're going, staying the whole weekend. So now I'm debating.
Funny.
Well, see, now I'm debating going just because like a friend is going. So I don't know.
Right. You're going to have an infant.
That's the variable right there. That's the variable.
You have to keep forgetting you're going to be a dad.
Well, and honestly, like, and this is probably not a good thing for a racing podcast to say, but like, I'm so sick of NASCAR's stupid shenanigans after we spend a lot of money to be there that like, I'd rather just watch it on TV and just be out a couple hours at a time instead of like a whole weekend and like $1,000. So,
right.
Like I was you and I were both, I was so mad after that Coke 600 race. Like I was ready to never go to a race ever again. I was so livid.
I was pretty pissed.
Yeah.
I was really pissed. The people I was with at the time, they didn't really care, but we were pissed. Mm-hmm. Me and you were pissed for sure. I came back like an hour later. I'm like, what? And
well, it was nasty.
Where did Mitch go? Yeah. I was wandering off. I don't know where I was.
Yeah. I had to call you because I remember I was so mad.
Don't even remember you calling me.
That's fair. Yeah. They sent the middle finger to their fans just to make their TV window happy. Like, screw that. It's so freaking bunch of morons running the sport. So, but NASCAR news, that was all I had. The last thing I have on my list is Bristol predictions. Yes. What I should have prepared and had somebody picked, but honestly, I am so freaking torn because I look at momentum, I look at teams that are good there, and there's a lot of conflicting data there right now, so I'm not even sure what to think. I don't know. Do you have a pick in mind for Saturday night at Bristol Motor Speedway?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get Ty Gibbs. I think he's gonna do really well. He almost won it last year. Oh my bad, in the spring. Just had a bad call, I think, on strategy, but he was up there, and I think this is going to be the moment where if he wants to advance, he's going to win this race, and it's going to help him in the next round. But I think look for Ty Gibbs to have a good night.
Very good. Man, I'm torn. I want to say Toyota, but I just question their ability to execute right now. I just am not seeing a lot out of Toyota that's making me confident in their ability to like finish a race smart. So, because there's a piece of me that thinks Denny Hamlin is going to show up and just walk off and win the thing. But
I don't think NASCAR will allow that.
NASCAR and 2311 are still pissed. Part of me thinks Reddick is going to do it, but then again, it's like copy and paste the same answer. I'm going to go out total left field. This is a crazy pick. I'm probably going to regret it next Saturday night. I think Chase Briscoe shows up and gets it done and gets his second win of the season. I think Briscoe might get it done Saturday night.
You could definitely do it. That's for sure.
Yeah. You know what? I think I feel more confident in my Briscoe pick than anything else right now. So, Hail Mary, number 14 goes to victory lane, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping we actually have tire wear. Like I said, I doubt that we will. I have a feeling it's going to be single file, follow the leader. But, hey, I really hope it's a good race. I really do. I want it to be a good race. I just am not expecting much. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's all valid. I think I have more optimism just because of what I saw in the spring. If they can bring that same tire compound, I know it was a lot, but I think they think 5 cars finished in the lead lap because everybody kept blowing tires. It was just chaotic. Yeah. It was just chaotic, and if it's like that, you're going to see something crazy. You're going to see some crazy stuff happen. Some people aren't going to think they're going to be out of the race. They're going to be out of the race because of tire issues and weird cautions falling and being stuck 3 laps down. It's going to make it like a roulette at this point. But yeah, I really think I think it's going to be a good time. I think it's going to be entertaining. So if that's what we're going for, I think that's what's going to happen. May not be authentic, but I think it'll be entertaining.
We'll have authentic and entertaining Friday and entertaining Saturday. So, which means we'll have 400 laps of not being able to pass, followed by 4 green, white, checkered. So, tune in; it'll be good. Like I said, we got an Xfinity regardless, so we'll have a really good race Friday night. Got some great dirt track racing, obviously, this coming weekend too. Apparently, Williams Grove on Friday during the Xfinity race.
Is that the National Open?
No, that is the first week of October, which we might be going to ? I don't know. I'm aggressively on the fence.
Okay.
But Kenny wants to go, and that's why I'm like, it'd be fun to go hang out with friends. But at the same time, screw Williams Grove. So I don't know. Like I'm really torn on that.
Well, that weekend I'm assuming it's probably like the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yes,
or 3rd,
that's
4th,
correct.
And 5th.
Yes.
Okay, because I might be going somewhere actually that weekend. So
okay.
But I don't know. That'd be cool too. But yeah, I think you made a mistake this week.
I may have to play sick Friday. I will let you know next week on the podcast what happened. But I may have to be sick, and we may be sitting at home.
If it's Jordan, I think he would understand.
I'd be like, listen, sorry, I completely messed up. It is Xfinity at Bristol night, and I just need to be there. I need to be in front of a TV. So
can't just say no to Bristol. Yeah. Come on.
It's like literally, it is like easily going to be top 3 best race of the year. And then the alternative is Williams Grove. So it's just a really hard debate there.
It's like worse than the next gen.
Oh gosh,
it is.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Anyway, final thoughts, Mitch. What are your final thoughts for this episode? Anything you wanted to add that I did not include on this week's episode?
Yeah, I'm gonna give 2 shout outs to some of our listeners. I know Phil Lynn, I believe that's his name. I believe he's a Corey LaJoy fan. He's been through the mud with me. Sticking with Corey. Phil Lund, my bad. His last name's Lund, not Lynn.
Yes.
He's an avid listener.
He is. We appreciate
talking to him on Facebook, and he's a cool guy. So shout out to him for listening. And Corey got another top 10. So shout out to Corey LaJoy. Back, what he had 2 top 10s this month. So that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
We're hitting,
love it.
Hitting some strides there. Got some good races coming up for him. He's pretty good at Bristol, at least in other cars. He raced well with it. And then Jan Scott, shout out to her for listening to the podcast as well. Another Corey LaJoy fan that I talked to here and there. So, so that's all I got.
We support it, and I'll just tag off the back of that. A shout out to all of the guys that are following. We have a lot of new followers that have been reaching out to me lately, and it's awesome. Love it. Glad to have you here. Feel free to reach out, send messages, whatever. Come find us whenever we get to races. We'd love to connect and network and all that fun stuff. And I'll piggyback on the whole Corey LaJoy thing because I'm kind of sick of the whole Corey LaJoy just being the easy punchy bag. I think I actually texted our group on a late race restart because Corey got
out of it.
Yeah. Corey got put in a really bad spot by
the priests and Noah Gragson.
Yes,
they were putting him 3
that
wide.
was it.
And I was like, you dumbass. I didn't mean to cuss there, but
it's okay. It was the first one. We made it almost the whole episode. But Corey backed out to avoid what would have been a pileup. And of course, nobody cares about that, but they want to blame Corey for everything else. So shout out to Corey. Shout out to the fans that suck. And I've noticed too, like, Corey LaJoy and Brett Griffin have become the popular targets now for race fans on Twitter. So just wanted to pass along, quit your whining, get over yourself. And I won't speak for Mitch. I think Brett and Corey are both great guys, and I'm a fan of each. So the heck with y'all. Quit your whining. Trump 2024. See ya.
Yeah, there we go. I'll piggy that. Trump 2024, and have a good night.
Go 12. Please don't wreck them next week. Bye.